Good evening. I'd like to call to order this regular meeting of the City of Sebastian Natural Resources Board for December 2nd, 2025.
26.
2025, 26. I'm sorry. That's right. They haven't changed it yet. Okay, December 2nd, 2026. Messed me up there. If we could, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for that. Could we have roll call, please?
Yes. Ms. Ware?
Present.
Ms. Thompson?
Here.
Mr. Kraus?
Here.
Mr. Brueggen?
Here.
Mr. Trinkle?
Here.
Ms. Schellenberger? Mr. Stadelman?
I'm here.
Mr. Carano?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you for everybody coming. If we could, please have an approval for the minutes from the previous meeting.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the December 2nd, 2025 Natural Resources Board meeting.
And I'll second that.
With an aye vote for approval.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any nays? Okay, the minutes are approved. And I'd like to make an adjustment. I was reading off the last minutes. This is Tuesday, January 6th, 2026. And move into item 5. Is there any announcements? All right. Does anybody have any announcements from the senior club or the art club or anything like that?
Sure. As you know, the Fine Art Music Festival is the 17th and 18th, and the art club will have 2 tents in it. So if you like art, come and visit. It's a real big deal. It's free to the public, and there'll be entertainment and food as well.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you for that. Any other announcements that need to be made? Okay, not seeing any. Item 6, any agenda modifications? Not seeing any. Move on to item 7, public input. Is there anybody for public input? Is there anybody on Zoom?
No one has raised their hand at this time.
Okay, well, thank you very much for public input tonight. We greatly appreciate everybody's participation. Moving on to unfinished business. We have the item A for Sustainable Sebastian. And as everybody knows, Sustainable Sebastian is our 5-year plan for the environment to keep us on track and on goal and on task. And today we're looking at goal 6B. And item A under number 1 would be Tree City USA Growth Ward update.
Thank you, Charles. So pleased to announce that we have officially received the Growth Award for the 2025 fiscal year. This is a fantastic achievement. We haven't been able to achieve this for the past few years just because we hadn't made enough progress, but we were within the past year able to do so. And thanks to Laura for providing me with all the documentation and everything that I needed to be able to fill out the application. And it just helped streamline the process so much. So I really appreciate everything you did to assist with that. And so now we are recertified as a Tree City USA once again, and now we have the Growth Award for this year. We have already received our regular Tree City USA materials, which includes decals and stickers. Particularly, there are a couple of stickers with the updated number of years that we've been a Tree City USA. So those are going to go up on the signs. Unfortunately, they came in a little bit twisted and wrinkled, so they're in the process of being flattened out before we, give them to the sign shop to put them on our signs. I'm not sure if we will receive any physical materials for the Growth Award, and because we already received our regular Tree City USA materials in advance, so we'll see if they do end up sending us anything. But the fact that we have obtained the Growth Award and it was approved is fantastic in and of itself.
Yay.
Yay!
Awesome.
We get a hand today. Yay! All right. Tree City Growth Award. Do you know how long the Tree City program has been in existence?
I think we are at 23 years, if not more.
I was going to say 25 years, but I didn't think it was quite there yet. But that's great. It's fantastic. I guess the biggest thing with that is the awareness from this area, that knowing that the trees are really important. And I just can't stress that enough. And it's probably the hardest thing that has been to address in these last few years is the landscaping and the trees, because of how you have to plant in regards to the easements and the houses and everything else. But it's also, I think, our greatest loss, because it just seems a lot of the lots are clear cut because they're not going to survive anyhow, and how it has to be done. And then the trees that are planted, they're not left to grow back to replace the ones that they were supposed to replace. So hopefully going forward, we can address that. Congratulations to the City of Sebastian, City Council for Tree City USA Growth Award. Is there any other comments on that? None?
I guess I will add the additional comment that we are already in communication with certain members of our Parks Recreation Facilities Department. We are already starting to compile data that we are going to need for next year's recertification. So that process begins in kind of like late September, early November. That application typically has to be in during the month of the month of November for us. Different states around the country have different due dates, so ours was during November. Some states, it ends up being in December. But we are starting to compile those things that they started doing as soon as the fiscal year changed from the 2024 to 2025 year, from then to the 25-26 fiscal year. Anything that happened in that first month of October, we already have a little bit of data for tree maintenance and things like that that can go into the recertification for next time around. And then any additional projects we do throughout the next few months will go into that as well.
Fantastic. Any other input for Tree City USA Growth Award? All right, not seeing any. Congratulations again, City of Sebastian. And for goal 7B on your Sustainable Sebastian 5-year implementation plan, the Great Air Potato Roundup. And yeehaw, it's Saturday, February 14th.
Yes.
And we have our, it looks like a Valentine reminder. So if, if you want to talk about that.
Yeah. So the save the dates this year were designed to look somewhat like a Valentine card, intentionally, because we were trying to play into the idea of having couples come out and families and loved ones and, galentines and everyone who wants to celebrate that day to get together and help collect the heart-shaped leaves, and sort of playing into that aspect of the air potato itself to garner more support. That is coming up relatively soon. If the board members are planning to be there, I'll need to know soon, but we will discuss that. We will have one board meeting before the actual event itself, so we can discuss who's going to be there during what time frames. The whole event itself, I believe, is going to run from 9 a.m. to about 1 p.m. is what we've discussed so far. So if that any time during that time frame works for you, or if there's certain time blocks that will be possible for you, let me know. But I will set up a template schedule like I have for some of our previous events. That way we can outline who specifically is going to be where, when. And I don't know, Dan, if you'd like to speak to this a little bit.
Yes. So, further on that, what we're having now, I guess, is the solid waste department is going to help us out with the disposal of the pepper plants and also the air potatoes. So that's good. And they're actually also going to, I asked them if they wanted to set up a tent as well, so they can do their outreach as well. I've done that. I've actually missed the ball because I was going to contact, which I'm still going to do, the police department here to see if they want to put up a little booth as well to come out there for the kids. I'm going to send an email out tomorrow. I said I was going to do it this afternoon, but I got busy. To Donna with the Pelican Audubon Society, who is helping us with this event. She was seeking some grants for some awards to give out for the biggest air potato, the funniest one, and also we're looking at a couples award. since it's Valentine's Day. Potentially, I don't know, potentially a dinner. So I will be doing that tomorrow. Sorry. And then, I was going to talk to, we have another meeting for the air potato, but then also talk to Felicia about this in the meeting with the people, is potentially try to get some type of food truck there for the event. I don't know if they do that for 4 hours or so, but try to do that. But there will also be potties. I do know that as well. I do remember that.
All right, fantastic. Sounds like you got a good handle on it. Is there any other comments on the Great Potato Roundup?
Just a question, what's the time that we're running it?
The full event will be from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So I think we're looking at having a couple different volunteer shifts. So the first shift will be a couple of hours and the second shift will be a couple more hours. We're aiming for within, I think, the last half hour of each shift, we will bring all the volunteers back and we'll officially do awards for that group at that time. I think last year we had intended to kind of do awards for the entire group, for everyone that was participating all throughout that day, but it made it difficult to communicate with folks who had already left from the first shift if there were air potatoes to compare to one another from the last shift. So this time we're breaking it down as far as awards go for each individual shift and see if that works a little bit better logistically.
Yeah, we also hope to have the supplies, buckets and shovels. Obviously, if people have those as well, they can bring them with them and stuff. I think we have some gloves, but we should have some supplies for that.
You know, this sounds like a good project for the schools around here too. Are they being contacted?
We can certainly contact them. If there's any particular schools that you all think would be most interested, please let me know. If, Donna,
The charter school,
the charter
definitely.
schools?
Yes,
Okay,
definitely.
We'll be sure to contact them as well.
You have Christine's.
I do have Christina's contact, yes.
I bet you those scouts would like to get out there too.
Oh,
'cause
yes,
the,
yes.
The Girl Scouts have really been helpful this year. I have to give a shout out to the local and then the Boy Scouts that are Earth Days and stuff.
ROTC.
ROTC, yeah, get them out there too.
And and I'm not new here, but I'm new here. I don't have any kids that go to school, but they give service hours. Do schools give service hours here
Yes.
too? Okay.
Yeah, so they can get their hours. We're able to sign off.
We had talked about it, but I didn't know.
Yeah,
I didn't know we had an ROTC at this. I haven't been to the high school, so I didn't know if we had an ROTC and Girl Scout. I didn't know that stuff, but
Well, that's okay.
okay.
Okay. Any other input for the Great Potato Roundup for Saturday, February 14th?
Does anyone know right off the bat if they will not be available for that day?
Oh, that's great to hear. We're gonna have a full team. So we'll have an air potato contest.
There you go.
So, can I just ask one question? And with a lot of the invasive species, we tend to think of the bad aspects of it, which of course is primary in our concern. But so, are there any value to the air potato? And the only reason I mention that is this. With a lot of invasive species, one of the ways that people, their paradigm changes is they suddenly realize, well, wait a minute, I can use this. I can make baskets with it, or I can eat it, or so I just.
Well, you're kind of like referring to that lionfish, that's
Yeah, that's what I was, yes.
Maybe a use for the air potato that we're not seeing. Whenever we're looking up stuff nowadays, everything used to be search this and that, but now everything's AI search. So there's different ways of finding. I don't know. That's a good, like kudzu, the band, everybody knows that vine, that kudzu vine. It was brought here for soil stabilization, I think, by the Tennessee Valley Authority or over there in the Mississippi area, and then they realized they could eat it, and it was, but we don't really do anything much with it.
I just pulled it up on a computer just for information. Air potato plants have used in traditional medicine, wounds, inflammation, digestive issues. Their tubers can be cooked and eaten like yams.
Now, Frank, I do apologize. I do want to stop you there. Just because when you pull up air potato on searches like that, the internet ends up conflating. There are edible species of air potato, and this one
Is not.
is not. This one is toxic. So unfortunately,
Still
being
makes
eaten
compost.
is not an option.
They all make
Still makes compost.
Yeah.
Down to a pulp.
I think from what I've been told, there are no known uses. If someone does come up with it one day, that would be fantastic. And if any of you find out something further, I would greatly appreciate hearing any insight you have. Because it's toxic to humans and animals, it is so pervasive in its growth pattern that it is so hard to kill. And I'm not sure if anyone has come up with sufficient methods for extinguishing mass amounts of air potatoes at once. So,
Well, I really never knew what it was before I was on this board. And I would see him out there, be like this hard, looks like potato. Maybe I should try it. Man, I'm glad.
Don't do that, Charles.
Yeah, all right,
maybe
well,
not
you-
this one. Maybe a different
Well,
species,
you can
please.
see how we grew up. Okay, well.
I want to add something. We talked about the air potato, but Brazilian pepper. I had my work Christmas party at the Brevard Zoo, and I just learned from the nutritionist and from zoo staff and the nutritionists and some other people that they have, I think it was 6 animals that eat the Brazilian pepper plants. I didn't know that.
They eat the berries?
They eat the berries and they eat the leaves. And so I was, I don't know if I sent an email to Felicia because we're working on that, but I was going to try to do a little bit more research. I have contact. I didn't know that because I was like, my gosh, there's a lot of Brazilian pepper here. And
They'll never run out of food.
And I was
They'll have plenty of browse forever.
But they did say they have their sources, but I was like, do you take it though if somebody brings it in? They said, well, we'll have to talk, and I explained what I did. He knew what I did, but then also with this.
Maybe it's one of those things where they like watch you bring it in and say, well, what you taking?
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of regulations, but it was Christmas party,
But the pepper tree is very pervasive here, and it's been here for as long as I can remember. We would basically use it to camp underneath because it's got a big canopy. So we would cut out all the wood underneath and camp underneath it. But then I learned again on this board that when you burn it, it puts off almost like a toxic gas, and that's why they call it pepper tree.
Right.
And we're like, oh, that's why we're just melting down, and so you learn stuff all the time. So you can't burn it, and I guess it's hard to eat, and it grows right back. So I tried cutting it down, and it grows right back. Okay, moving on from the Great Air Potato Roundup. Any other comments for that? Thanks for everybody's input. Again, it's Saturday, February 14th. We got another meeting between now and then, and just get with Felicia. And remember, all of this is volunteer work, and if for some reason you take care of yourself, your family, and you got to do that, it's what you got to do. We're moving on to number 3, Goal 12A. For the Sustainable Sebastian 5-year implementation plan, the inaugural public environmental poll, which is really fantastic. I've seen that out there. If you want to talk about that, Felicia?
Yeah, sure. And I'm sure Mr. Cross would like to chime in as well. But we have officially put out the poll for folks to fill out. I have gotten a good slew of responses already. Within the first hour of it being public, my inbox was full. So I have now generated a separate inbox or separate folder within my inbox just for the poll, so I can put all of the poll results there. We will tally it up at the end of the month. Early in February is when we'll cut it off for receiving responses to it, and then we'll tally it up and see what folks have to say about our local environment based on the questions that.
It doesn't self-tabulate?
Not yet.
No. So
okay.
It's in jot form, and what MIS can help us do is help us create a spreadsheet that compiles all of the answers. Because our answers are qualitative and not quantitative per se, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to to tabulate all of those answers. So it will take a little bit of time once we do close off the poll, but we'll make sure that you see those results.
Good, Doc.
I have a question. It came out in Sebastian Daily. That was,
I would have to double check to see if Sebastian Daily happened to put out an article.
Yes,
they
they
did.
did.
They did. They put the
Yeah,
poll right
with the
there.
link and
Okay.
everything.
I know that Avery, assisted us with
Yeah.
reaching out to the public on that, and she had indicated that, she would be able to reach out some of the.
Yeah,
to the
but
news.
can I also ask if you could email us, the board, a link to take it?
Okay,
So
yeah, I
that
can
way
certainly
we
send that
we
out
can
again.
send it to our friends.
Oh, okay, certainly.
Thank you.
I got mine. First day. It was well done.
I got the link, or I was on the, I've done it. I didn't put my name in it, but
I just copied and pasted somebody else's link. I did too.
Right?
It worked. But no, it's fantastic. And Mr. Kraus, thank you for bringing that up now. It looks like it's going to be really helpful going forward, and it's always good to be able to ask the general public in the right way. And really, up till now, it's hard to get all that information. Now we have the internet department working real good, and all that's looking great. It's all been redone. Compiling the information is just stuff we can add to whatever we do going forward. The only thing I maybe would add is if the internet department can maybe look at adding an AI chatbot to the website. Like if you were to go to my website, there's an actual we built it, we put it on there, and we built a chatbot. And it basically answers anything you could possibly ask about what's in and on the websites. So say like they want information about the Natural Resource Board, they could ask the chatbot, and the chatbot interfaces with these people.
So to clarify, are you talking about the general City of Sebastian website?
Yeah. And then what it does, it pops up in the corner, and it says, "Hi, give it a name, an avatar name, and the old chatbots used to just were search engines from Google or something, give you information what's on Google. But these new AI chatbots have personalities, and you can ask it to be just about anything you want it to be. So I'm kind of mean to my chatbots, so because I want them to give me the right information. And but you can ask it to be whatever you want, and it'll really go through it. And I think it'd be a little bit of an upgrade. And then with the information from the poll, that can be added into questions that we may be asking up here on the board that we don't even know yet. So I think in the future it'll be really fantastic. I was just looking at that, and I happened to look at it, and I have it on my website. And I know if I can do it, anybody can do it at this point. All right. Any other? Mr. Kraus, do you want to put some
I
information?
just want to make a couple comments. First of all, I want to just remind the members of the NRB that this is a participatory activity. You guys, you folks, did some of the questions, et cetera, and gave us comments back and forth. And so you should really applaud your participation also. I don't want to diminish that. I mean, it's important to have all the board members say, this is what I think it should have, et cetera. And the only other comment I'd like to make is Donna made a great suggestion. The more people in Sebastian residents who complete it, the more input we're going to get, and the stronger the conclusions and comments that people add. So if we do have a way of saying, Felicia sends us the link, or you think, I've got a couple of people who are interested, then we can send that along, and we'll gather more information and more input. So that's all. Thank you.
No, and the other thing it's able to do too is I share it with groups. And these groups have thousands of people in them, and so I share it with Barefoot Bay, Fellsmere, and Vero Beach, because they're all right next to us, even though they might not be in our city limits. But you gotta remember, a lot of what we do and how we live here are affected, and we affect our neighbors. So the people real close by can also participate in the poll.
I just want to say one thing on that too, is I really, I looked at the pretty critically at the survey, and I think the most helpful item on the survey was the open comment boxes. Because just doing the check marks on whatever and not having some space to add something that maybe we didn't think of, I think we're going to see probably a lot. You'll see some of my comments, but there'll be probably some comments in a lot of those boxes where people add what they're thinking, and I think that'll add to the overall success of that.
Well, it goes back to just when you thought you've seen everything or you know everything, somebody's going to come along and show you something and do something you never seen or done before. And especially now, how quickly everything is changing. And you'd be just amazed at some of the changes I've seen out there. Okay, Amy, go ahead.
I have a question. And I agree with what you said, it's, with Sebastian folks. I also agree with Barefoot Bay, Fellsmere, and going to whatever towards Vero Beach. Is question 6, and I guess it says that because is it question 6, or is there a question in there that says, are you a local resident or out of town? Does it say out of town on there, or?
I don't have the set of questions in front of me, but I believe we did have a question in there that specifies if the person is a City of Sebastian resident within our jurisdiction. So that is clarified at some point in there. And then there's also a question in regards to whether they're a full-time resident, part-time resident, something of that nature.
That's it. So when it comes, and it's only for a month? Is that we're only doing it for February? Mm-hmm. Okay. So I guess however you're proposing to go further beyond that, because, I want to see like the data residents for the City of Sebastian people, and then see what the people, are you a full-time or a part-time resident for the out-of-towners that are starting to come in there for the winter and stuff, to see what their input is important too.
Well, that helps in your data sets.
In the
data set, and then
Yeah.
helps with how you're going to move forward. I mean, you'd be able to see, do people coming here act differently or expect different things? And if they are, maybe we can use that as a marketing tool to help bring them here. Maybe they come here and they're like, oh, we don't like this, or, ooh, we love this. However it is, they're coming here for a reason, and if we can find some little niche to get more people here without harming the environment, then that's what we're here for. Fantastic comments tonight, guys. Great stuff. And ladies. Okay. For number 3, Goal 12A, inaugural public environmental polls. Is that enough comment on that? All right, not seeing any more. We'll move on to number 4. Goal 15 in the Sustainable Sebastian 5-year implementation plan is partnerships with the Treasure Coast Food Bank to address food insecurity. And are you leading that?
Yeah, so I'll kick us off by saying we did have our very first mobile pantry event with the Treasure Coast Food Bank on December 19th. And this was a really great success, especially for our first time around. We hosted this in the overflow parking lot of Riverview Park Complex. And I don't know if Dan would like to give us some of the stats that they were able to provide us today on the results of that event, but we are looking forward to doing another event with them later this month. I believe on January 24th is what I have, and that'll be 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. We're looking at potentially doing it here at City Hall. But Dan, if you'd like to touch on some of those statistics that they were able to provide us from after the event.
Did they? I didn't see the email.
It's okay. I have them, okay. So I can.
Well, I did email them a couple of times. I guess this morning as well, for just to follow up. I didn't see the email. However, the event, it was short notice to do. Like she said, it was the first one on City of Sebastian property. Also coordinated with the Parks Department board. As well as the city manager had to give approval for all that, so that was thank you to them as well, and to Richard for the parks director for allowing it to be on there. We did I was amazed when I showed up there at 7 in the morning. The overflow parking, half of it was full. I don't know how many, I'm going to say 80 cars. It was very busy for 2.5 hours. There was a lot of food, a semi-full, probably about 35 pallets, all the way from milk, grapes, 3 different types of fruits, meats, fish. They actually had dog food, cat food. They actually also Gatorade, and they had presents, Christmas presents, since it was the 19th. So I think it went really well. They know what they're doing. They've done it for years. It replaced the one for the 19th, replaced the one for Fellsmere for that month, but then they were, her name is Krista. She's in charge of the outreach part of it, and she said she wanted to have it and keep on having it again. We were feeling it out. We actually are going to meet again because there is some other data we asked for that she does have, geographic data where the need is, because if we're going to go the mobile route, or if we go a brick and mortar place, or they also have food lockers that you can pick up your food. There's some options there, but we're going to discuss that at a later time. I didn't see the email today.
That's okay, because I did make sure to jot down those statistics so I can make sure to, just in case. There were 21,957 pounds of food distributed that day, approximately 18,297 meals in total, which included 9,000 pounds of the produce, and then the milk holiday food, the pet food, toys, et cetera. So this was a fantastic event, for the first go around within our jurisdiction, since we haven't done one of these before. This is definitely worthwhile. I did take a trip out there to go see how the event was going while it was running, and Dan was out there volunteering, as well as our friend Paul Halloran from the Parks Recreation Advisory Committee, and of course Richard Blankenship, our Parks Recreation Facilities Director, was out there as well. Helping out, and I don't know if there was anybody else. I apologize to anyone else who is on a board or committee at the city, and I didn't note that in being there. But this was a fantastic first time, and they had many volunteers. But if the board is able to help assist with any of the future ones, of course, I'm sure they would welcome the assistance. You do have to register with them, as Dan had to do in order to participate in that. You have to fill out their waivers, all of that sort of stuff. But the way they were able to set up the lines of the cars in the overflow parking lot seemed to work out really well for the flow of traffic. And there were a good number of cars waiting in the queue when I arrived to take a look. So, and that was closer towards the latter half of the event. So that was a really positive thing to see.
And it worked really well there because originally we had discussed Barber Street. And I was like, I talked to Richard, it's like, glad you didn't do that, because, and here is, they need restroom facilities for all the volunteers, because there was probably 30 volunteers, and you just get on the website, and you can go anywhere in the Treasure Coast Food Bank, what they serve. You just go, if you want to donate your time, you go onto their website and pick a place where they're at. It was publicized for the short notice. It was on their website, and they drew a big crowd. I guess people coming all the way from the other end of the county, which kind of amazed me. I have envisions of serving some other people that in this area too, that like walkers and stuff. And I think we had a couple of those, but the food that they hand out is like, how are you going to be able, It was really neat because they had the whole meal, Christmas meal, except for the ham. They had everything in this box, and I was like all put together and said, "Oh, you got to get the ham now." And I was like, "Wow, this is nice." And
That's fantastic. Good deal. Thank you, Daniel.
Yep.
Really appreciate that. Does anybody have any comments on that? And that's just one of the ways that this board does do its work. Even though we're here at the pleasure of the city council, we do serve the city of Sebastian, and we can do it in all kinds of different ways. Addressing food insecurity is something we had never thought of before Daniel had brought it up, really. I mean, it's in his wheelhouse. I mean, this is what he wanted to do, and he ended up working some way of 22,000 pounds worth of food. So, I mean, that's fantastic. So hopefully we can continue doing it, and next time maybe we can get you some more volunteers out there if you need it, and we'll see what we can do about that. Is there any additional comments on that? Okay, not seeing any. We'll move on to event debrief. The event debrief for Christmas parade. Boy, this has been a long month, hasn't it, guys? Christmas parade, Christmas, New Year's, so now we got our meeting with Christmas parade debrief.
Well, for those of you who were there, thank you for joining us for the parade this year. I think we had a fantastic event this time around. We did, the one thing that we'll have to note is we will definitely have to prepare for more candy and more seeds for next time around. Duly noted. We'll make sure we have that on hand. Maybe double or maybe doubling the amount might be a bit much, but
I don't think so. I think doubling is.
You think doubling would be fine? We'll see. But it was fantastic. I think the float was a hit, and it was a lot of fun. And getting to walk beside it, you can really. It was really nicely visible from the road. And I hope you all were able to get the pictures that I sent you. If you did not get those pictures for whatever reason, please let me know, and I would be happy to resend those to you. But if anybody has any feedback, be happy to jot that down for next time around.
Yeah, I think the seed packets were a hit with the adults. They were asking for them, and obviously the candy with the kids. And yeah, we ran out early, so it was kind of a bummer towards the end, but it was definitely successful and a lot of fun.
I have to say that this is our first Christmas parade here in Sebastian. I mean, we were in Palm Bay, our last house. I had no idea that it would be as big as it was. I mean, the streets were absolutely jam-packed from the start point to well beyond where it ended. It's just incredible.
And I think Frank did a good job on the mic. So he was telling people what we were passing out with the seed packets and everything. And so I think that really helped engage a little bit, what we were there for and kind of how, what we're representing.
And getting the kids to dance.
Yeah. So it was just, great job all around, I think, to everybody.
And I think the city council has started something. They had that very nice float yeah, right, guys, huh? Did they have quite the float, city council? But we beat them in music, so maybe we can start working on the float like in February.
Part of the problem is we only have 2 hours to decorate it.
Well,
they have however long they need because.
Well, that's why I said I think we need to start a little bit earlier because, that was quite the float they had, It's like, whoa, where'd this come from all of a sudden? I think we're in the Rose Bowl parade,
I think they have a better budget, too.
Yeah, I was going to say you might have to do some bribing to require the staff members that it would take to construct the float in advance, and also the finances, because we might be able to make it work, but that is questionable.
Yeah, that float showed up, was like, wow, look at that. And they're all like, hi, bye. We're running alongside it. Okay, it was a great event. It was great to see all the people in Sebastian coming out, all the smiling faces, all the couple of the 6 grumpy people are still here, and so it was still nice to see everybody. Though the kids really loved it, and I look forward to doing it in the future. Is there any additional comments on Christmas parade? All right, not hearing any. We're going to move on to new business, and we're going to pick a selection for the new chair and vice chair. Just before we do that, because we're going to end it just after that, the Indian River, the National Indian River Lagoon people next door, they're opening for the small grants is open now. So if anybody out there who's listening has an idea for the Indian River Lagoon improvement, they just opened up the time, and I think it's short. So it's for small grants. I think it's like for $5,000 or less. So that was all I have on that. And then we'll move on to item A,
Can we stop for just a second?
Yes, sir.
Because I do have a new agenda item that Felicia and I have talked about a little bit. This is not mandatory, but I'd like to suggest a future agenda item to explore the concept of a thin magazine-style environmental education guide for Sebastian. The idea is to complement our existing pamphlets and sustainable Sebastian goals by providing a more durable place-based resource that stays in hotel rooms, vacation rentals, and new homes, particularly targeted visitors, snowbirds, and new residents who may not be familiar with Florida's environmental sensitivities. This would not replace current materials, but help tie them together in a way that encourages practical, everyday stewardship. I'm simply proposing a discussion at this point to gauge interest and feasibility. Basically, what we have right now is we have a lot of one little small sheet pamphlets that go out and people read them once and then they're in the trash. Whereas a kind of a small magazine type, full size, that open up that explains various different things, everything from native to invasive species to whatever, but would be in actual hotel rooms and in Verbos and Airbnbs, and would basically be permanent there so that people could go back and forth through them as time goes on. So that's just a suggestion for the future.
Do you want to put that on the next agenda so we can talk about it, actually?
Sure.
Sounds like you'll need some money for that or something, or maybe in our budget already. Anybody else got any other new business they want to talk about? Okay, we will open up. Does anybody have any nominations for the new chairperson?
I nominate Charles for president, chairman.
I like it. I was going to nominate Tom if he wants it, because he's been very good, but he's been telling me no. Now, one of the things I spoke about to Felicia, I like being the chairperson, and I've been doing it for a while now, and I wanted to open it up to other people so that the board could grow, because the only way something grows is if you prune it back. So.
I'll second Charles.
Third.
Okay, do we have to take a voice vote for that?
So just to clarify, so there's a nomination for Charles. Charles, does your nomination for Tom still stand?
Do you accept that for
No.
Okay.
no.
Charles, do you accept the nomination for yourself?
I accept the nomination for chair for myself. And not seeing any other, we don't have to take a vote then.
That's correct, unless there is any other further input from the board before we move on.
I would like to this is a really delicate kind of thing. We're all friends here, and first of all, I don't want it, so I'm not promoting myself, but I would ask the staff just to consider other ways to gently and delicately allow other individuals to probably feel comfortable either having somebody put themselves forward or putting themselves forward. It's like I say, I like all you guys, folks, and I enjoy participating with you, but is it the best way to ask for chairs and vice chairs? I'm not sure. And so maybe.
Well, that's why we asked for nominations.
Yeah.
And that's really the best we can do right at the moment.
Robert's rules.
Robert's rules.
Really the only way we have to do it.
And one of the things I've actually had to do, and I've actually talked to people about this, I gotta not be such a nice guy. When it comes to this stuff here, it's hard to be as nice as we'd like to be. And I actually have been speaking to the staff about it, about my feelings on pruning the board is very real, because I think that's how things grow. And I understand your concern as well. Moving on with Robert's rules, do we hear a nomination for the vice chair? I'll nominate Tom again if he will do it.
Okay.
I'll second that.
I vote. Any other nominations?
Tom, you accept the
I'll
nomination?
accept it.
Well, you guys got the same team then. Dream team!
I don't have a shirt.
Oh, you still don't have a shirt.
We're waiting for new ones. Waiting for new
I'll
ones.
give you this one that I've had now for since day one. But I appreciate the confidence. If something does change in the meantime, but I do look forward to voicing your voice from the board, voicing the voice of the City of Sebastian City Council, and voicing the voice of the people of Sebastian.
And Charles, we want to thank you for the job that you do because you worked tirelessly for this board. We appreciate it.
Well, I enjoy it. I thank you for that.
Congratulations to both you guys.
And we got one more thing here. Thank you very much.
So we don't need to do a confirming vote, right?
My understanding that if there's only one individual selected for the respective role, that there is no vote that needs to take place. If there's more than one, then we would have to go through roll call, and then we would.
So no motion with a pass?
Right, there's nothing we have to do
Nothing.
if there's no vote.
Okay. And thank you again for your confidence on that. Moving on to item 10, items for next agenda. The next date is February 3rd, 2026. And we'll be talking about Sustainable Sebastian, the Great Air Potato Roundup, and we'll add on the cards and, of course, whatever else that you can send to Felicia. And not seeing anything else. Does anybody have any other questions or anything?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Tom. Can we get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Donna. I vote to adjourn.
Aye.
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned.